I'm Thomas, and today you join me behind the wheel of the Toyota bZ4X. And I want to say a special thank you to Helensburgh Toyota for loaning me their bZ4X. It's an honour to work with them and get a few of their vehicles on this channel. So, what is it? The bZ4X is the first mass-produced EV built from the ground up by the Toyota Corporation. It shares its platform with the Subaru Solterra and the Lexus RZ that I happen to review thanks to Lexus Glasgow. So if you do like this car and fancy a more premium version, check out that review. So let's start off what it is. It's a mid-size SUV, it's got seating for 5, it's got over 450 litres of boot space, and it can come front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and automatic only as your option. So pricing for the bZ4X starts off with the pure. As of December 2023, prices are just over £46,000 for the base model. I'm driving a Motion, which is in the middle, which is around 49,500, and then it's just over 50 once you include the metallic paint. And then top end is the Vision trim, and that's a little bit easier to identify because of its larger alloy wheels. And that this particular car, being the mid-level Motion trim, comes with 18-inch alloy wheels, and you can tell it's not a base model because it's got those little spoilers at the back. The mid and top tier ones have those little kind of spoilers, so it's a little getaway clue if you're looking at one of these. So from a driver's perspective, when you're sitting, you've got the instrument display a little bit further forward than you would have in a traditional vehicle. It kind of means you don't need a heads-up display because it is quite far back, but it does take a while to get used to because the very first 4 or 5 hours of experiencing this car, I was leaning forward like this because I'm so used to being a certain distance from the gauge cluster, whereas when you're sitting back, you're actually going to find out, actually, it's meant to be like that, quite far back, and you can sit and see it. The only kind of discrepancy with this and little negative on this is it depends how you have the steering wheel adjusted, is the fact that you can't really see all the cluster all the time. So sometimes it might cut off the speed or the bottom where it says the range there. It's a little bit annoying just because I quite like to be able to see a cluster, but I know some modern vehicles suffer from that kind of oddball design feature. So you join me in the back of the bZ4X. This lovely stormy day is not giving up, and it's actually pretty roomy back here. This is what I loved about its sister vehicle, the Lexus RZ, and probably electric vehicles in general, because they've been designed in such a way the cabin space is maximised. We've got plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom, plenty of like shoulder room, and you could probably genuinely get 3 adults back here, or at least 3 teenagers, because there's no transmission hump in the middle. You've got the flat floor, and it's pretty wide, so there's plenty of room. Sitting back here, I'd be quite comfortable. Got a nice big window, great view at the front, and plenty of, as I said, knee room and kind of leg room, just because you've got that so much room up front that the front passengers are able to have their seat in such a way that you've still got maybe like 3-4 inches of knee room. And I'm 5'11" for reference, and yeah, as you can see, you've got 4 fingers worth above there. It's also worth noting that we've got little pouches behind the seats in this bZ. As you can see, you've got a little bit of room back there for iPads or sweets or whatever you want to keep. We've got USB-C chargers, and we've also got some air vents. The door card itself as well is, it's alright, it's pretty quality solid feeling. We've got a little bit of kind of vinyl rubberized material here, mechanical door unlock, release, and we've got an electric window and a little bit of storage in there with the grab handle, and down below as well we've got a big room for a big bottle or something like that. And you've got the ability to have the armrest down as well, so we could have 2 cups there, for example, and you could sit on a reasonable journey and be quite comfortable back here. As I said, it is a nice place to be in the back of the bZ. It may be a little bit dark with the tinted windows and this black headliner. There's other options you could obviously get, and the panoramic roof, or the glass roof anyway, is an optional extra, and you might want to consider that if you're thinking of carrying maybe young kids to prevent travel sickness. But yeah, plenty of headroom and all that back here. And the material quality, pretty alright, pretty Toyota. It's not really Lexus levels of soft touch, but it's definitely fine for something that you probably hardly go never touch. But yeah, it's pretty nice back here. It's also worth noting that you've got child seat anchors that are nice and easy to access, as you can see there and there, and because the doors open quite wide, it's easy to get in at a nice height as well. So I guess you're going to wonder, what does this Toyota bZ4X compete with? And unfortunately competes with cars that I haven't driven yet. So I'm going to go with things like the Kia EV6, Hyundai Ioniq 5, just because of the space of that vehicle. To an extent, probably because I'm pricing Tesla Model Y that I have driven. That's a little bit more tech-fest, which you can appreciate minimalist interior. This has got buttons, which I quite like the ability to have. That ID4, potentially maybe ID5 with the sloping back. Audi Q4 depending on spec of this. There's quite a few on the market. Mustang Mach-E, this being front wheel drive based, it's, you know, it's going to be quite competitive. I think storage space wise it's great, and do you know what I like about it is people you can jump in. If you're jumping out of like a RAV4 for example and getting this, it's not a very difficult learning curve. You know, I'm sitting in front of a BMW iX in front of me, and if you jump out of a X5, say a 2019 X5 into 2023 iX, it's going to be quite a different experience and curve, whereas this, apart from feeling electric all the time, most RAV4s were hybrids and people got used to that kind of semi-electrification, so it's probably not going to be the next biggest step for them. And you know where buttons are, you know what they do, it's quite familiar, and some buyers like that. You know, if you're wanting the latest and greatest with LED light strips everywhere and, you know, autonomous driving that maybe the Tesla would offer, you're going to have to look at those brands. But you know what, for a nice everyday family vehicle that says what it does in the tin, it's great. And Toyota offer up to a 10-year warranty, stroke up to 100,000 miles with this car, so you've got that little peace of mind. And I remember reading somewhere that the batteries have been designed to hold like 90% of the charge after 10 years, so hopefully longevity is going to be in the side of this bZ4X. And as I said, the real range, mid 250s, is better, more palatable than, say for example, the sub 200 that I've seen in the RZ. I've just pulled into the supermarket and it's mobbed. But anyway, without further ado, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video on the Toyota bZ4X. I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching.